Kanika's Kitchen. It is early this morning, as you can tell by the bags under my eyes. I'm just sitting here having coffee, and I'm going to tell y'all what we're going to do today. It's a big day. We're finally going to tackle all that chicken that I bought. I don't know, it's probably like a week out or so for you all, but it was just yesterday that I bought like 88 pounds of split chicken breast. It includes the rib meat and the skin. But I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to put all this up, how I'm going to preserve it. It's just a combination of freezing and canning, but I'll show you how I do both of those. This is not me like panic buying chicken or hoarding. I bought this way for years. Like I mentioned that in my my grocery haul video. But this will be, I looked, and the last time I bought chicken, it was on sale. It was back in October, and this is July, and that's the last time I bought chicken breast. That was boneless, skinless chicken breast, and I think I bought like 60 pounds of it then, and we still have one pack of it in the freezer. I've been kind of like slowing down on how much we've eaten chicken just because I knew we were getting low, and chicken's crazy expensive right now. Ideally, I would have bought boneless, skinless chicken breasts again. That's usually my go-to, but it's like double. It's like twice the price for what I paid for the split chicken breast. I think the split chicken breast was $1.50 a pound, and I am paying for the bones and the skin, but I'll show you guys what I plan to do with that as well. I'm going to try not to waste. Well, I'm going to try to waste as little as possible from this chicken, from this meat. This is a lot of meat. And I paid about $130 for all of this, but like I said, last time I bought chicken was like, I don't know, over 6 months ago, probably close. So I'm hoping the chicken that I bought yesterday will be enough to last us a whole year on chicken breasts. And I think it will. We have other proteins that we eat as well. We probably eat chicken at least a few times a month. But like I said, I've shopped this way for years. If meat goes on sale, I just stock up. I think we bought our house or moved into this house just before Ruth was born. And that's when I really started putting food back. Once we had the space and we got a deep freezer. We didn't really have the space or the money to do this when we lived in the apartment. But we're fortunate enough now, and like I said, this saves us so much money in the long run. I pay, for cheap chicken now. I don't pay for it again for the rest of the year. And then I just have like extra money every month for my grocery budget. And I usually put some of that money towards other proteins when they go on sale. Like I think, I don't know, like a month or so, maybe a month ago, I bought brisket on sale, and that was like all the protein I bought for that month. That was like a huge chunk of my grocery bill for that month. But I didn't buy any other meat that month. And the same goes for this month. My grocery budget is usually about $500, and I spent about $130 just on chicken. So we're not buying any other protein, but I can fall back, like I can pull out some of that brisket that I canned, or we butcher our animals too. We still got a lot of pork in the freezer and on the shelves that I've canned up. So that kind of allows me, you kind of get like a snowball effect. It allows you to like pull from your other proteins that you bought on sale and put that money towards new produce or new meats and stuff that's on sale. If that makes any sense, I don't know. It's early. It makes sense in my mind. But I'm going to finish my coffee, and then we're going to jump into... preserving all this chicken that I kind of dread. I kind of dread it, but I'm going to be super thankful for all this meat. It's going to be great. It'll be really good for our family. And I just got to take you guys along with me so you can see all the work and effort that goes into this. But I assure you, it is totally worth it if you can do it. And if you can't afford to go and buy 88 pounds of chicken, just buy, if it's on sale, go ahead and buy one pack and maybe 1 or 2 packs for the freezer. And just kind of like build a little stash up like that. But we'll get on into this. I'm procrastinating at this point. I keep talking. But, alright, I'm going to drink my coffee and then we're going to get started. So we're going to can up some chicken, and to start with, alright, first off, this is not my favorite brand, and it's not my favorite cut of chicken for this, but this was $1.49 on sale, and I don't have to tell y'all how expensive chicken is getting right now, so I'll work with what I got. This is a fresh split chicken breast with ribs. Ideally, you're just going to be using boneless, skinless chicken breast, but they're like twice the price per pound, so no thank you. All we're going to do is we're going to get this out of the package, and then we'll start trimming it up. These are some big old chicken breasts. Alright, I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of carve these up. If you just got the chicken breast, you can skip this part. I've actually never worked with this cut before, so I'm trying to figure out where I need to, where the chicken begins and the bone ends. And I want as much chicken left as I can get. Making some progress. Okay, and then this is what's left on the bone. For me, you might be able to do a better job because there is still a good bit of meat. But since I have so much of this chicken, I'm actually going to make broth out of this. I'm just going to throw it in my slow cooker, cover it with water, and I'll probably cook it for, I don't know, 12 to 24 hours. Usually more like whenever I get around to canning it. But yeah, well, that's still a good bit of meat. I'll take some of the skin off as well. I don't like the skin just gets flabby. I would think it would just get flabby in the canner, so I want to take that off too. Alright, so now we've got boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Not bad at all. That just took a few minutes. And I saved a bunch of money, so. I was a little bit worried about how much, actually, like, chicken breast I was actually going to get. Like, how much meat by the time I had it all trimmed up. But that was not bad. Alright, now we're just going to dice it into about, I don't know, about 1-inch cubes. Oops, I left a little bit of bone right there. I've got a lot of chicken to cut up, so maybe my knife skills will improve the more I go. I won't miss any little bits like that again. Go. I'm just going to toss them aside. We'll get to canning once I get all of my chicken cut up. Okay, it's been about 2, maybe 3 hours later. I am wore out. So this was a little less than 88 pounds of chicken. And honestly, like, I was a little disappointed that it wasn't like the boneless, skinless chicken breast, but I am really pleased. I've never bought this cut with the split breast, but this is diced up chicken breast. These are the whole chicken breast. I got about 9 of those in that bowl. And it came with tenderloins. I didn't realize this cut included the tenderloins until I kind of got into it. I was going to show y'all where it was at, but my hands are all gross and chickeny, so I'd already turned off my camera and I was like, what? If you watch that first one or two that I cut up at the end of the video, you might be able to see it. It's just kind of like right under the rib cage, and it's just a little muscle that pulls away. So I was like, oh, that was a nice surprise. So I saved what I could. Some of them didn't pull away real easily, and I kind of tried to cut them out, and those didn't turn out so good. So they just went into like the diced chicken. That's the skin I'm going to try to bake and crisp up for my dog. Dogs they're susceptible to salmonella, but it's more she just has a hard time eating the raw chicken. Like, it's too chewy. And I got, with the ribs, I threw them in the crock pots, and my Instapot, I'm using it as a slow cooker. I just put in the rib bones with what little meat is still left on them. Cover them with water, and I'm cooking them on low. I'll probably do that for at least 12 hours. Some people let it go as long as 24, but it's just the ribs. Like, there's no vegetables or anything. Some people put vegetable scraps, and some people put the apple cider vinegar, but I don't bother. But I'm getting a lot out of this chicken. I'm pretty pleased with it. And the diced chicken is the bulk of it. I'll probably can some of it and freeze some as well. Well, let me tell you what I'm doing with all this. Some of this I'll freeze right here. The breast and the tenderloins, I'll just freeze those. Like I said, the skin goes to the dogs, and then the broth, I'll can it up as well. I probably won't do any pressure canning today because I am tired. I'll save that project for tomorrow. But I am going to go ahead and freeze it. I use the vacuum seal bags. If you do that, you just want to, it's helpful to put like a paper towel at the top, right above the chicken, and that kind of helps your juices from getting all absorbed, or your juices from getting sucked up into the vacuum sealer. But you can just toss them in a Ziploc bag as well. They just won't, maybe not last as long. But I want to get to freezing, and I'll meet you guys up tomorrow when we start canning. So this is what's going in the freezer. Some of my diced chicken. The large bags, I like to freeze those, and I'll make like a big batch of cashew chicken or like teriyaki chicken, and then I'll freeze portions of it. The chicken is fine. You can freeze it raw, cook it, and then freeze it cooked, and it does fine. I've got some smaller portions of the diced chicken back here. That's more for like pastas and stuff. I got like 3 bags of chicken tenders. There's about a dozen each in that. And then I do some of the, I call them chicken nuggets, but I just season them with like salt, pepper, and onion powder. And we have like grilled nuggets with those, and I usually just, that's an easy dinner for us. I just usually warm up some french fries in the air fryer and heat these up on the stove, or cook them on the stove. And let's see, now I've got a few bags of just chicken breasts. Yeah. I actually like 3 big chicken breasts to throw in the crock pot, and I can just dump some barbecue sauce on them or something for those easy crock pot dinners. But I still have a bunch to can as well. I promise we'll get to that. I'm just going to show you how far all this chicken is going to stretch. Like, it's going to be a lot of meals for us. Very thankful. I'm going to get these in the freezer. Then for real, next time you see me, we'll do the canning part. Alright guys, it is the next morning, and we've got about 13 pounds of diced chicken breasts left. We're going to go ahead and just can all of that up. I don't know how many pint jars I'll need. I'm going to do them all in pint jars. And as you guys know, I do like the wide mouth, especially for meat. I'm just going to dump them in. If you're a little squeamish, you can wear gloves. That's fine. Sometimes I do, just so you don't have to wash your hands 100 times. But we're just going to pack our jars. Actually, I don't even think I need the funnel. We're just going to pack our jars to about 1 inch of head space. And the chicken breasts are probably like one of the easiest things to can, honestly. Like, you don't do anything to it. You don't have to add any liquid if you're raw packing anyway. This method is called raw packing. We're not cooking the chicken breast. We're just putting it in cold, and we'll do a cold start with our canner. I'll explain that a little bit too. I usually don't do that, but for raw packing, that's the way to go. Go. And we're not going to add any liquid, because this chicken, as it cooks, it'll release its own juices. Its own, well, broth, I guess. I had to get some more jars. I wound up with 13 wide mouth pint jars, and then 1 little half pint. I'm just going to process it with my half pints. It'll be a little over processed, but it's fine. I mean, I didn't have anything else to do with that little bit of raw chicken. Normally, the next step would be to debubble, like use your little debubbler and go around. I don't really find that makes much of a difference when you raw pack chicken. I mean, it's just gonna, it might pack your meat down a little bit and help maintain your headspace, but that's about it. You do still want to wipe down your rims. I just got a clean paper towel, clean wet paper towel that I like to use. You can use vinegar if you like. It's not necessary. Like, honestly, our rims are pretty clean. They might have a little bit of chickeny on them. And I have washed my hands too in between this. I'm not handling the outside of my jars with like my raw chicken hands. And once we do this step, I'll wash my hands again as well. But I feel like this one probably gets a little bit contaminated, I guess. Alright, let me wash my hands. Okay, with our clean hands, we're just going to pop our lids on. None of this has to be sterile either when you're pressure canning. One of my favorite things about pressure cans. I hate that step when you're water bathing. And I just keep all my lids and rings in a bowl where they're easy to get to. There we go. Alright. And the texture, if you guys are wondering, if you never had canned chicken, it's cooked. It'll cook through in the pressure canner. It'll be totally safe to eat. Like, you can just open up after you process them. You'll be able to just open up a jar of this and eat it straight out of the jar, and it'll be totally safe, totally cooked through. And you'll just have chunks of chicken breasts, and they just shred super easy. They shred like with a fork. Alright, next are our rings. And you want to screw these on like fingertip high. I need a little more space. I'm trying to like cram them all together so you guys can see them. But you don't want them too tight or too loose. We like to eat our chicken, the canned chicken, we like to eat it with chicken salad's probably our favorite, but we also use them for like quesadillas and tacos. Also, I forgot to mention, if you guys want to add a little salt to this, go ahead. I normally don't bother. I just season when I open it. Same thing with my broth. I usually don't add anything to my broth either. Alright, and these are all ready to go in the canner. When I put them in, I'll wipe down my countertop as well with a little disinfectant wipe. Just try to keep everything clean as possible. But I'll meet you guys at the canner. I have my cold jars in cold water, about 2 inches. This is what I was talking about, just doing the cold start. Normally you'd have hot jars and hot water, but if pretty much you want everything, if your jars are cold, you want everything else cold. This is just a little oil. I'm going to oil up my rim here. This is the set for the All-American pressure canner that I have. Then we'll put the lid on. And you want to make sure your warning labels are here. Oh my goodness, it's early. You want to make sure your warning labels are all facing you. You should be able to read your little geared pressure gauge. There's a little arrow with an indentation here. They line up. And there's also a little hook right here that just kind of goes right into that little lip. The hook's right in there. Whoop, there we go. Alright, and all those are indications that your canner is lined up the way it should. And then with the little clasps, you do them diagonally from each other, loosely at first. You'll go around and loosely tighten all of them. And then once you have them all loosely tightened, you go back and tighten them up as tight as you can. And that just ensures that your lid is on there evenly. You can also kind of look at the little rivets right here. Make sure they're on. They're all pretty equal. These look good. Alright, normally I'm not a very patient canner. And I'll just like crank this sucker up. But like I said, everything is cold. So we got to bring this up super slowly. Otherwise we're just going to break all our jars. It'll the sudden temperature change will shock them. And you're just going to lose everything you got in there. So I'm going to start off slowly and gradually increase my heat. And what we're eventually wanting to get is a steady stream of steam right here. And once it comes, the water will start boiling. That's going to create our steam. And once it starts steaming, we'll time it for 10 minutes before we put our weight on. But like I said, we're not going to rush this process. So I'll pause the video and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, as you can probably hear, we've got a good steam going. We're going to go ahead and set our timer for 10 minutes. And after that 10-minute mark, we'll put our weight on. So I'll see you guys then. 10 minutes is up. So now we're just going to put our weight on. For my altitude, I need 15 pounds of pressure. And then you see, I don't know if you can see, there's a little 15 right there. So that's what I'm going to put it on. You can consult your canner's manual. And it's based on your altitude, how much weight you need to put on. But now we're going to wait for this, our pressure gauge to come all the way to 15. And this will start jiggling, and we want it to jiggle every few minutes. I'm sorry, you want it to jiggle a few times every minute. So I am having some technical difficulties. My pressure gauge, I replaced it, but it's still not coming all the way to pressure, so I may have to troubleshoot that a little bit more. Alright, my old one, it wasn't doing it either. It was stopping about, I don't know, it was like it's around 13 pounds of pressure. But I replaced it thinking it was just the pressure gauge, but it's not. I might have to take it off and maybe clean this little, I don't know, this little area right here out where it connects. I'm thinking maybe something's blocking it and it's not coming all the way to pressure. But the weight is what I'm going to be going by. A lot of pressure canners don't even have this, or don't have both of them. Some will have one or the other. But this is more like what, like these are constant, like the little weights. Like they don't go out. You don't have to adjust them or anything. Like they're just there. Like they are always accurate. And you hear that jiggling, that means I'm at my 15 pounds of pressure. Turn it off a little bit, or turn it down a little bit. Yeah, so that's about where you want it. Just kind of jiggling a few times every minute. And I'll have to troubleshoot that, so we're not going to worry about this today. But ideally, that would be at 15 right now, and then this would be jiggling as well. But something's going on over here. I need to, like I said, I need to troubleshoot. But this will still be totally safe processing, because like I said, I'm going by this, and this lets me know I'm at my correct pressure. So we're going to set our timer, since we're doing meat in pints, We're going to start our processing time for 75 minutes. If I was doing quarts, it would be 90. But since we're doing the pints, it'll be 75, and I'm going to start that timer right now. Our 75-minute timer is up, so all we're going to do now is turn the heat off. Now, ordinarily, I would wait for my pressure gauge to go all the way down to 0, but I'm not trusting this one right now, so I'm just going to leave it for about an hour. But in the past, when I've done this, it usually takes about 40-50 minutes to come all the way down to 0. I'm just going to go and give it an hour just to be safe, and then we'll take our weight off after that time. So it's been an hour since I turned off the heat. My pressure gauge is at 0, but I'm not really trusting it so much today. But the next step is to just take this weight off. And everything's still really hot, so be careful. I gotta admit. Alright, we're gonna let it vent for about 3 to 5 minutes just to be extra safe that all that pressure has gone down. So I've let it vent for a few minutes. Now we're gonna take the lid off the same way we put it on, just diagonally. And again, the lid and all this is still really hot. Okay, then we're going to unscrew, and then when you lift the lid, kind of point it away from you, because generally there's going to be a lot of steam. Yeah, there we go. Now some people will let their jar sit in here, and they say it decreases siphoning, which is when you lose liquid, like liquid seeps out of your jars. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll just take them out immediately and put them on the counter to cool off. I actually have an errand to run today, so I am going to let them sit in the canner for a little while, and then whenever I get back, I'll take them out, and I'll share with y'all how our chicken turned out. Alright, so we still got all of this broth. I'm excited about that too. Just for the sake of the length of the video, I won't go into detail how I do my broth. It's pretty simple, but I may do a standalone video on it. But just to give you like the basics, we're going to strain the broth, and then we're going to prep the jar the same way we did with our chicken, and then for quarts you process it for 25 minutes, and for pints it's only 20 minutes, so should be pretty quick and painless. But I'll show you guys the end results with that as well. I was just going to give you guys a quick little peek at what else I'm doing with this chicken to really make it stretch. This is the scraps. These are the scraps that came out of my crock pot. And as you can see, there's still a lot of really good white like breast meat on it, so I'm just picking through. It is like really like dry and overcooked. I mean, it's been in there for like 24 hours. So what I think I'm going to do, like in a pinch, like this is totally edible for humans. It won't hurt a bit for us to eat it. It's just not super palatable. The texture is really, like I said, not great. But I think, look at all this I've already gotten off. I think I may try to make this into some homemade dog food. I think Dolly would really like it. Or at the very least, just mix it in with her store-bought stuff. But this is in the bowl, and on my tray here, this is what was in the Instapot and in one of my crock pots, and I still have another crock pot full to go through. And this is a big bowl. Like, here's my hand. See? That's a whole lot of chicken. That's no bones or anything, just all chicken. So definitely glad for and really pleased with how much meat I'm getting out of these. So the canning is complete, well, at least for today. We wound up with 7 quarts of chicken stock, 13.5 pints of canned chicken breast, and that's what that looks like. Not the most appetizing, but we'll be glad to have it on the shelf. And like I said, this is totally cooked through. You can just open up a jar and eat it straight. It just shreds really easily. And then we've got all of this. So this is the chicken that I picked off the bones after I made stock, and it is a lot. I think I might actually make dog food out of this, because like I said, it's not the best like texture and stuff. It's fine, but it's just kind of like got that dry mealy kind of texture. But that'll be a separate video. I think this one's long enough. But if you guys like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, because I'm all about prepping some food. I do like it. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And if you want to see how the dog food turns out too, go ahead and subscribe. That'll be coming up soon. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you come back and see me.